Hi, Captain Peter Cutsey. This is the last in the series of the go-around from circling to land. We're downwind right now in the pattern, as you can see. And what we're going to do is go through to the base leg turn and execute the missed approach from that point. Remembering that anytime that you are in the circling procedure and you must go around, you must turn towards the airport. Remember now what we talked about before. When we touch toga, the FMA left to right will indicate three armed modes. Excuse me. The auto throttle in go around, the roll mode, LNAV engaged, the pitch mode in MCP, I should say in toga. So that's go around, LNAV, and toga will all be engaged, and that's what I want you to watch when I actually select toga. It's a very busy time. So once toga is selected, you'll be in manual flight. The autopilot disengages. You pitch towards 15 degrees. Ensure toga thrust is set. After you've confirmed the FMA is indicating correctly, then call flaps 15. Positive rate. Gear up. Command A. Heading south, heading to the right, and ensure that the aircraft is turning towards the right. Remember, we don't want to stay in LNAV because LNAV may take us the wrong way. The turn has to be towards the airport. That's the reason for going to level change. Going to level change will change the pitch modes, but you'll still be engaged in LNAV, so the importance for selecting heading select and then move the heading bug to the right all the way around to probably a heading of 160 degrees today to intercept the missed approach course for the localizer runway 13 right. Ensure that the speed window is opened. It will be open because you selected Command A, or any command, in this case, Command A, which reverts the autopilot AFES system to a level change. So the speed window opens. And because you were at flap 30, the commanded speed is VREF 30, or I should say VREF 40 for flaps, our flap setting, and at 80,000 kilos, that works out to 154 knots plus 1. We talked about this before. So the commanded speed will be 155. And that happens to be 1 knot away from the flaps 15 speed. So lucky day. So when the speed window opens, when we select command, make sure that the airspeed is 154. If it isn't, set it. Bug, set the speed bug to 154. You must stay at a minimum radius turn. That's the reason for staying at flaps 15. Don't clean up until you're intercepting the outbound leg. So let's get the show on the road. We'll cut the aircraft loose. I just popped us forward to a point where we can consider now turning to base leg, just for a little time saving here. And remember, once you have the poppy in sight, you would disconnect all the FDS systems and ask the pilot monitoring to cycle the flight directors off and on again. We won't get to that stage. We'll just get to the stage, and we haven't started down yet. We'll get to the stage that we want to go around. And so I would like you to watch the FMA. Now I've stopped the simulator for a moment. I've just zoomed away so that you can watch what I'm doing with respect to the toga, flaps 15, gear up, and command A. All of these things are going to happen fairly quickly. And of course, heading cell, and then heading to the right all the way around to, we mentioned 160. We'll try that and see what it looks like. We want to stay at flaps 15 for the turn to keep a minimum radius. So let's go ahead and do that now. Remember, when you depress toga, that the autopilot disengages, so you're manually flying. That's important. And I want you to focus here on the FMA and look at what we've been talking about several times throughout these series of briefings. Go around. Manual flying, pitch up. Thrust is moved up. Flap 15, positive rate, gear up. And command A. And heading cell, and then to the right on the heading, towards the airport. And make sure the speed window is at 154 knots. We are in flight level change, or I should say in level change, and we are turning. And we'll keep a maximum rate turn. So we'll set the bank in this particular airplane to 30 and keep the aircraft turning. And the speed at 154. If you notice, we're experiencing a very minimum radius turn, which is exactly what we had planned on. And we've got a great rate of climb, and we're at flaps 15, and we're at flap 15 speed. So we'll turn to 160 to start with and see what that looks like. So we're leveling at 4,000 feet, and we are still at flaps 15 speed. Once we get turning on course, we will accelerate and clean up the aircraft. Not until then. If you notice, we're still within the 2.5 nautical miles ring that we selected before. And for Panzops, I do believe it's 3.7 nautical mile radius from the threshold of runway 31 left in this particular case. We'll keep the turn to turning to 180 so that we make sure we don't go out of the hands-off criteria. Now we can actually accelerate to flaps up speed. And we'll arm LNAV. Take a smaller bite. And LNAV is engaged. Clean up with the flaps up, adjust the heading bug to our current heading, what we anticipate it will be when we're on course. Excuse me. We're altitude hold level, and we can actually go into a VNAV path mode. Then we get concurrence from the first officer in this case to execute. And we go to VNAV and then make sure that the speed window is open and we select the holding speed. In this case, flaps up speed, VNAV path, MCP speed, checks. So here we are entering the hold. And mission accomplished. Busy time. And I'm sure you noticed the FMA, and that's what I wanted you to look at throughout this procedure. Well, thanks for watching. This has been an interesting series on circling to land and the different scenarios for going around. Look for me in my next series of videos. Thanks for watching.